world-renowned Oriental dancer, teacher, choreographer, author, and also the creator of the pioneering Joana Saahirah's online dance school and Joana Saahirah's world, where you are right now. And today I'm coming with the answer to a question I've received millions of times throughout my career. Since I first started to be interviewed about Egyptian dance, since I first said, and I subscribed to it 1,000 times over, Egyptian dance has changed my life. So the question is, how can Egyptian dance change your life? I mean, can it really? Is it just a nice thing to say? Is it just a marketing slogan? Is it just a force of expression? No, it is not. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you a few ways, a few phenomena that I have observed in my life and in the life of students who have studied with me throughout the years, phenomena that prove indeed Egyptian dance can change your life. Now, before I give you those phenomena or those observations, I have to make this clear. Egyptian dance can be practiced on many different levels and with different teachers. Those teachers may have different educational backgrounds and experiences. If you are not learning from a professional teacher who knows the craft in depth, you may not experience the life changes that I will be mentioning. You may not experience the phenomena, the features that I will be sharing in this video with you. So it's very important to know with whom you're going to study, how far those teachers have gone into the art of raqs al-sharqi, and also on what level are you practicing Egyptian dance, because you can practice it just for exercise, you can practice it for competitions, you can practice it for so many different contexts. And the Egyptian dance that I'm talking about is an Egyptian dance that is the art form, but also the healing, self-discovery and empowerment tool that it can actually be. Having clarified that, let's start discovering how Egyptian dance can in fact change your life, just as it has changed mine. Ready? Let's go. How can Egyptian dance change your life? Phenomenon number one. Here's what happens when you start to study authentic Egyptian dance with a professional teacher. You go back to your center. What does that mean? You go back to yourself. Your focus starts to be redirected within. You reconnect with your womb, your essence, your core, who you are. Perhaps for the first time, you will look at yourself in the mirror within. Here, what happens is most of us, including myself, I'm talking about my own story, we arrived to the Egyptian dance training or our first Egyptian dance class or workshop with our focus outside of ourselves. We have not been educated to look within and to know ourselves. The maximum know thyself has not been a part of our culture and education for a long time. Perhaps it never was, because it's a lot of work, you know. But when you study authentic Egyptian dance in a professional environment with a teacher who knows what the hell they're doing, this is the first thing that is going to happen. You suddenly refocus and you go within. So perhaps for the first time in your life, you're going to get in contact with who you are, your identity, your feelings, your thoughts, what you want, what you do not want, your values, what's important for you, what you want to do with your dance, with your life. You are going to look at your inner world, perhaps for the first time, and you're going to go deep into it and start to move in dance and in life from it. That in itself can be life-changing, because suddenly you know yourself. Oh, this is dangerous, baby. But it's also the most empowering thing you can do for yourself and for others. How can Egyptian dance change your life? Phenomenon number two. When you start to study authentic Egyptian dance with a professional teacher, you develop a positive body image. Oh yeah. This is one of the magical things about Egyptian dance. When we start doing it, we start looking at our physical body from a completely different, I would say really, it's magical. I'm repeating the word, I know, but I'm repeating it intentionally. Magical way, from a magical perspective. I remember when I started practicing Egyptian dance, I was like every other woman, I didn't like my thighs. I was always criticizing my body. I was dieting. I had suffered from anorexia for a few years. I was not happy with how I looked. I was killing myself at the gym. There was so much that was not okay with me. Nevertheless, celebrated, accepted, embraced by family and by society around me. And what Egyptian dance taught me was to really look at my human body and start to accept it and take care of it and love it, as opposed to criticizing it and forcing it to fit into a mold, an aesthetic mode, a beauty standard mode. So another beautiful, I was going to say magical, and I will say magical again for the third time. Another magical thing that you will see when you start studying Egyptian dance for real is this beautiful turn of events when suddenly you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, oh, I'm beautiful. I'm actually beautiful, and this body deserves to be celebrated. My shape, my figure, my curves, they are unique and they are beautiful just as they are. From that point of self-acceptance and love, you can take better care of yourself, not because you will want to look like the models in the magazines and the YouTubers and the girls on Instagram, but because you will want to be the most beautiful, healthy version of yourself, because you suddenly start to love your body, and that changes the entire game. In many years of traveling, judging, teaching, guiding, in many years of private online coaching, guiding dancers from different ethnical backgrounds, with different bodies, different faces, I have never seen one ugly woman. I've never seen one. And I assure you, the lack of criticism towards the bodies of other women is a reflection of the lack of criticism towards my own body. I have learned how to love and embrace and take care of my feminine, round, voluptuous body. That was not born with me. I was taught to do it through the learning of this beautiful, miraculous thing called Raqs Sharki. How can Egyptian dance change your life? Let's go further into it. When you study authentic Egyptian dance with a professional teacher, you rise your level of consciousness. You become aware that we are the visible and the invisible, the human and the divine. You become aware and you start to operate from unity, body, mind, heart, and soul. That is a total game changer, because you start to see life with the eyes of magic. And I know I mentioned the word magic and magical several times in this video, but again, there is a reason why I call it the magical dance. And magic, it's all about transformation. It's all about miracles that happen when we dare doing differently, when we dare going inside and learning the tools that allow us to discover the power that was always within. So what does it mean to operate from body, mind, heart, and soul? It means that we become fully aware, fully conscious that we are not only physical beings, that the values of life are not only the material, that dance and life is not only what we can see with these two eyes, but also what we cannot see but can feel. That's the thoughts, that's the energy, that's the desires, that's the dreams, that's the wishes, that's the emotions. All of that is real, even if you cannot touch it. And if it's real, you start to work with it. So a true Oriental dancer becomes a magician, She becomes a beautiful witch that knows the power of words, knows the power of movement, of physical action, but also the power of a thought, knows the power of being in the masculine, going for it mode, but also the power of being in the feminine, magnetic, receptive mode, knows the combination between doing and not doing, thinking and doing, knows the power of our belief patterns, knows the power of our belief systems, what we believe about ourselves, what we believe about life, knows the power of the visible and the invisible world. When you learn authentic Egyptian dance, you expand your consciousness. Life becomes more colored. Life becomes multidimensional. You see life in its different dimensions and you fall in love with it, and you start to use those dimensions to create the dance and the life of your dreams. Isn't that, I'm gonna repeat myself, magical? How Egyptian dance can change your life? I'm gonna tell you a little bit more, but for this one I'm gonna ask you to come closer to me. Closer, come closer, closer, listen to me. Self-confidence. Oh yeah, baby, self-confidence. When you study authentic Egyptian dance with a professional teacher who really actually wants to see you shine and bloom, as opposed to a teacher who wants you to become their follower, yeah, and the free marketing agent by being their follower and their copy machine, this is what happens. You develop your self-confidence. You discover the strength, the uniqueness, the value, the worth within. Self-confidence is not arrogance. I just want to make that clear. Arrogance is presuming that you are better than somebody else or better than everybody else. So you compare yourself. Self-confidence is not about comparison. It's about knowing you are unique and so is everybody else. So if I'm unique and I'm aware of it, I will not compare myself, my dance, and my life. I will not compare any of it with the life and the dance and the personality and the body and you name it of anybody else. I will own, celebrate, embrace, and flourish from my own uniqueness. That's what self-confidence is. When you become self-confident, you know that you have the strength and the skills to turn your dreams into reality. With self-confidence, you can express yourself clearly, openly, fearlessly, or even fearfully, but you still go for it. You know, that kind of people who say, I feel the fear and I do it anyway, I'm terrified, but I'm going for it. That's self-confidence, and that's what you can develop when you study authentic Egyptian dance with a professional teacher. You discover your values, you discover your worth, you discover that you're worthy of respect and appreciation, so you will not take less than that, not in your dance and not in your life. Suddenly, you become the master of yourself and the master of your own destiny. You know that a lot of the responsibility over your dance and your life, I would say 50% at least of it is yours. So you take that responsibility, which is also power, and you say, I know what to do with this and I can do whatever I dream with this. This is self-confidence. You learn how to work with your weaknesses, with your strength. You know how to say I'm sorry, but also thank you. I know I'm amazing. You know how to say I messed up, but also I did it amazingly. You will lose the fear of bringing your best self to your dance and to your life. And then again, I'm going to use the word, that's a magical transformation that can change your life. It has changed mine, baby. Are you ready for that kind of challenge? Because all of what I'm sharing with you in this video is scary. It's beautiful, but it's scary. We don't like change that much. We don't like to be challenged most of the time. We are in our comfort zone. And what Egyptian dance does is taking you out of your comfort zone so that you can evolve. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that magical? How can Egyptian dance change your life? I'm gonna tell you a few more ways how. When you're studying authentic Egyptian dance with a well-educated professional teacher, you're not only learning about dance steps and choreographies, you're learning about the history behind them. Yeah, learning authentic Egyptian dance is also about learning the culture behind that dance. Egyptian history, politics, religion, culture, values, language, traditions, all of this beautiful complex world that gave birth and perpetuated Egyptian dance. That's also part of the learning process, and it's a part of the learning process that will open your mind. It will make you more educated for sure, but not only educated, it will make you more compassionate, more understanding, and more appreciative of different cultures, different ethnical groups, different ways of thinking, different religions. Basically, it will turn you into a better human being who is able to be in the world with all its varied cultures and values with a sense of gratitude and appreciation as opposed to racism and separation. One of the things I remember the most when I started to study in Egypt, even before I moved there to begin my career, was the shock I received from learning a different way of life, checking the different values different people were living by. I was shocked. I thought everybody thought like me. I thought everybody valued the same things I valued. I thought everybody was living by the same principles. I was shocked not only by the richness, the cultural richness of Egypt and the landscape and all the excitement and adrenaline that Egypt offers you on a platter, but also I was shocked by the different ways of looking at life and living life, how different they were and how much I could learn from them. So what happens when you study Egyptian dance with a professional teacher is that you open up to the world. You say, oh my God, this life that I'm taking, these convictions, these certainties that I have held on to for so long, they are not shared by the entire humanity. There are different countries where they live happily in completely different ways. Oh my! It's a big awakening. And again, it can change your life. Aside from opening your mind, what Egyptian dance does is opening your heart as well, because you're not only being introduced to a new culture and a new history, new values, but you're also being introduced to a new way of feeling and expressing feeling, which is the one that we practice with Egyptian dance. So you become more vulnerable, more emotional, more passionate, and more able to feel and to express your feelings openly, like a child, like a warrior, like an honest, brave, beautiful human being, the one that you already are. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that magical? I said it again, sorry. How can Egyptian dance change our life? I'm gonna share a few more phenomena with you. This time around, the awakening of your identity, your sensuality, and your creativity. And this can be so scary. I assure you, they are so terrifying. And if you're lucky to have a teacher that will help you move beyond that fear, you're gonna find an immense potential on the other side. So when you start to learn authentic Egyptian dance with a professional teacher, you awaken your identity, your sensuality, and your creativity. What does that mean? You discover who you are. You start to feel, how do I want to move to this music? How do I see this dance piece? How would I like to do it? How does my body react to that? It's all about identity. It's all about putting your identity into action and actually creating from it. And that is not only applied to your dance, it's also applied to your life. So when I awaken my identity, who I truly am in my dance, rest assured I'm gonna awaken it in my life. It's so dangerous. Oh, so dangerous. It's life-changing. Again, that's what we're talking about, right? When you awaken your identity, you also awaken your natural, beautiful, guilt-free sensuality. And that's about joy. That's about zest for life. That's about self-indulgence. That's about taking pleasure in every little thing, in touching, in smelling, in hearing, in tasting, right? It awakens your senses, so it brings more joy and more aliveness and more health into your life. It's so beautiful, baby. It's really, really beautiful. When you awaken your identity and your sensuality, you happen to also awaken your creativity. And then again, this will depend so much on the teacher that you are studying with. Because a lot of teachers, some of them were my teachers, they will not develop your creativity. They will not give you space or the tools to develop your identity and sensuality. They will launch steps and choreographies on your lap, tell them to memorize them, and make them tell them how fabulous they are. That's it. But that's not what I call a true Egyptian dance teacher. That's a choreographer teaching you their fabulous choreography. It's a different thing. A teacher will allow you the space and will give you the tools to learn the technique and the choreographies, but also to learn who you are, to allow you to discover your sensuality, your joy, your pleasure, your magnetism, your charisma, your self-confidence, your identity. Who the hell are you? Yeah, and your creativity. How much can you create as opposed to how much can you follow? Because most dances, they become followers. They copy their teachers, they copy other dances. They have not developed their identity, their own creativity. Therefore, they will always be a step below what they could be in their dance and in their life. So again, if you're lucky to study authentic Egyptian dance with an authentic teacher, baby, be ready. You're going to be scared because your life really is going to take a turn. When you awaken your sensuality, your identity, and your creativity, you cannot go back. You will not be the same. Suddenly, you know exactly who you are, where you want to go, how you want to do it, when you want to do it, and that's freedom. That is strength, there is clarity, there is power, but there is also freedom. I wonder why they're so afraid for so long from Oriental dancers. Let's think why, right? How can Egyptian dance change your life? Last but not least, you start living from your soul and you discover something very beautiful, and I'm gonna use the word again, magical, called sisterhood. Let's start from the soul. When you study authentic Egyptian dance, you discover you are soul with a physical body, but you are your soul. So you start dancing and living from your soul. What in Arabic we call tarab, transcendence, reconnection to the soul, the spirit, going beyond my ego, beyond the material world, transcending myself, going into that ecstatic place of reunion with my own soul. That becomes your bread and butter when you study authentic Egyptian dance. Wow. Do I need to say that can be revolutionary? I don't think I need to say it. On another level, you discover sisterhood. What does that mean? Rest assured, there is this idea that when women come together, there's a lot of competition and backstabbing. And although that may be true, in many cases that is not necessarily the truth. In my workshops, in my courses, in every environment that I have taught, I make a point on creating an environment where women are trained to support each other, to be kind to each other, to see other women as their sisters, not as their competition. This, for me, is a sine qua non condition to work. I cannot work in an environment of evilness and gossip and comparison. I can't. I just can't. It is not the environment for Egyptian dance. It is not the same spirit. It is not the same frequency. If I am in the frequency of competing with other women and hating on them and criticizing them, I cannot be in the frequency of love, of identity, of magic that Egyptian dance actually requires. So this is a choice I invite all my students to make. If you want to learn Egyptian dance, you need to get into the frequency of love. And in order to do that, you discover and you develop sisterhood. You start to see other women as your sisters, as your mirrors. I support my sister, therefore I support me. I complement my sister, therefore I complement myself. There is an exercise I do very often in groups of women that I've trained around the world, and this is how it goes. I have them dancing around the room slowly and meeting each other. When they meet each other randomly, they go into each other's ears and they complement each other. They're gonna look at the woman in front of them and tell them on their ear, "You're beautiful, you're unique, I love your eyes, I love the way you move, I love the way you express yourself, I love your hands, I love your hair." Whatever comes to their mind, they are going to compliment each other, whispering in each other's ears. And what happens is, at the end of the exercise, those women feel empowered. They feel beautiful. The words of love they deliver their sisters are the words of love they deliver themselves. We are mirrors. What I give to you, I receive. Should I say the word again? I'm gonna say it. It's magical. Magical. I hope this video inspired you, educated you, and awakened you to the immense, infinite potential of Egyptian dance. This is something that has not been explored. I believe this is a huge part of my mission in this world, in this lifetime, and I believe this is something that you too can grow and benefit from. If you want to know more about authentic Egyptian dance and the way it can change you and your life, feel welcome to join me at Joana Saahirah's World and Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School. Then again, all information in the description box below this video. If you want to become a part of Joana Saahirah's World and be the first one to receive our news, our gifts, our inspirations, our exclusive content, subscribe to our newsletter right now. Then again, find all information in the description box below this video. Subscribe to my channel right now. Click your notifications on so that you know when a new video comes out. Receive my love and a kiss. I will see you soon, somewhere around the world or at Joana Saahirah's World. I love you, and I'm sending you this shoulder roll, a little head slide, a hand movement, and a kiss. Mwah.